Hello everyone, we're doing a little bit of a showcase of another work in progress first-person shooter implementation here, particularly the Wolfenstein 3D games. And I have to say that I am quite a fan of many of the first-person shooters I've played over the years, from Far Cry to, of course, Doom, Wolfenstein, and especially some of the offshoot ones like on, of course, Nintendo 64, like Hybrid Heaven, which is made by Konami. A little bit of a different kind of first-person shooter game, but still uniquely interesting, and I love playing obscure games, as many of you have seen in my videos. We're going to do Wolfenstein 3D right now real quick, and again, this is very much work in progress, so I'm going to do my best to get this out for next release, and have some stability fixes for it. I have actually encountered a few crashes, and I'm going to do what I can to get this as stable as possible. Initially, when I was trying to run this, it crashed every time the moment you even tried to open the core, but I have it to the point where it's actually able to have a little bit of gameplay, and I'm very ecstatic about this. How tough are you? Can I play Daddy? Don't hurt me, bring him on. I am Death Incarnate. I'm not quite sure if we're playing a first-person shooter game, or if we're playing an S&M Dominatrix style game. I'm going to do I am Death Incarnate here, and we'll play this for a brief moment, and nice, smooth, and seamless. I give tremendous thanks to all those who have worked on the core as well as on the PC standalones. What do we have here? Very interesting music, and it kind of reminds me quite a bit, reminiscent-wise, of some of the NES chiptune music for, of course, Bionic Commando, which ironically and coincidentally also takes place in the Nazi regime era. And they tried to downplay it a little bit by actually retooling the game as basically Bionic Commando, but it used to be called something like Top Secret Hitler. I'm pretty sure they used to call it that. What do we have here? Are there any enemies anywhere? Oh no! That was a little bit of a surprise attack. I think I lost it, but let's try the other game on the core. And again, I'm going to go to low content start directory. That was pretty bad. I got taken out in one single shot. And I remember playing like some of the Doom games on one of my other videos, and I went to the tower without taking the people out ahead of time, and they just took me out from a distance, sniper style. But yeah, I got my butt whooped there in 2 seconds. You can see I'm not the best first-person shooter player, but there's... And we have Spirit of Destiny, which reminds me quite a bit of God of War here. And again, like I said, there are stability issues, and unfortunately, it's not going to be a miracle overnight like some cores are. I mean, even Amiga was very tough in the beginning initially. But let's do Can I Play Daddy? And this is one game that crashed on me without a doubt, but hopefully it'll get better with some more testing and such. I'm going to take things slow in here, and it usually crashes when I try to go through this door right here. Let's see what happens. I'm afraid to go through the door because I know it's going to crash on me. Let's open the door and try to run away. I crashed. See what I mean? We're going to try it one more time here. And like I said, even when I was doing code breaking for Dreamcast and Phantasy Star Online, I would do code after code after code, and testing them in execution, I could end up with a crash. So, say for instance you're trying to do a code for Infinity Bullets, you might have a door crash in a third level of Wolfenstein, which can be pretty tough and time-consuming to test. But we're going to try this again, and again, the test process, I mean, invariably takes time. So ideally, what I'd like to do before I can release this is actually have this game, Spirit of Destiny, actually work in. And even something as simple as like changing your difficulty could really have an effect on the overall stability of the test. So I did Can I Play Daddy? Next I did Don't Hurt Me here. Okay? I don't want to go through that door. I know it's going to crash on me. But like I said, when I first initially tested this, it crashed every time. I could not escape the crashism. Oh no. So we know that Spirit Destiny is most definitely not stable enough to run right now. But we're going to go into two other ones. Again, we have basic implementation of at least Wolfenstein 3D, which is running fine for the most part right now. And we're going to go to low content start directory, media. And dummy, we're going to go to Amiga CD32 because there's actually quite an interesting Doom clone on here called Gloom, which I mentioned in the comment here. Look at the beautiful, glorious box art here. In Blackmagic software, Gloom, it is very much like a Doom game. And we're going to run with PUA Extreme here. And I'm going to show you another thing that, since I didn't do an Amiga tutorial yet, as far as some of the things that I've added to this for our implementation of it on the Mini Classics, you're able to basically zoom in and out by pushing the start button, which really helps out with doing overlay borders if you so choose to. But what you're going to want to do here is pay very close attention here. It kind of works like throttle controls when you're in an airplane and such, in a video game where you move down to move up and up to move down. So the way it works is I want to have a minimal screen, like this. I want to have the minimal screen, and then I'm going to go into the options here for controls. Just pay attention here. Quick menu controls. Now I'm going to go to Player 1 controls and change RetroPad to CD32. So the moment I do this, the way it cleverly works is going to go to the opposite of what it's set at. And this works out optimally as far as getting a better overlay support here. So now it's going to be full screen and have the CD32 controls, like that. And you can do this on the Amiga core with no problem, but here you just gotta, whatever you're gonna do is gonna change. And you can even do it by simply going into the controls and toggling back to RetroPad, and then right back to the Amiga CD32. And it's really the best thing I can do to get this working with borders, so that we can actually run both the Amiga and CD32 games on the same core. But very, very interesting game, and again, it is very, very much a Doom clone. And for those of you who have played many countless Doom games over the years, feel free to recommend some obscure first-person shooter style games. And like even Jennerben's trying to work on a very, very interesting one for Retro Boot as far as the next release is concerned. I'm not going to spoil anything yet, but you'll see for yourself when we get a showcase of it out there. But yes, a nice Doom clone here, and I'm loving the violence here. Look at the goriness nature. This is great. Like fatalities here. Of course, you can turn on bilinear filter if you want to have a more smoothest factor here. Let's go to RetroArch video settings here. I showed this more than a few times. And we have core options too there. I mean, well, actually in-game options that have nothing to do with the core. But let's go to this first. We're going to go to video settings there. Video. We're going to go to bilinear filtering. It is on already, actually. I forgot I left it on. But we're going to go back into the game here. And we can actually go to the in-game options here. We can go to full screen window size, resolution. I mean, you can play around with a few of these, but I'm just going to leave it as is for now, because I think it's going to run fine as is. But yes, even with bilinear filter on, it still doesn't help with this game as much as I would like it to, but it's still incredibly fun to play, and just a goofy game, well made for its time. And if any of the developers who ever worked on this game ever happen to see this video, feel free to leave a comment, because it is quite an interesting game here. Let's see what else we have here. Can we go through this door? I'm still getting used to this. There we go. I hear monsters. Okay. That must have been an elevator. And that's interesting because pay very close attention to the elevator aspect of this, because the next game I'm going to showcase, which is one of my favorite arcade games, has a similarly themed elevator implementation. Oh yeah! Gloom for the win! Definitely going to be playing more of this game. This is the type of game that I actually expect to see in like some low-budget movie somewhere, because most of the time you'll see like Doom, Wolfenstein, Frankenstein for Atari 2600, whatever, but have you will, you'll probably never see that game Gloom in any movie or TV show, but here you go, guys and gals. Gloom it is! Amiga CD32 really had some great games, but unfortunately it was never released in the United States. That failed before it came here due to some of the other things that were going on in the scene at the time. Then the other game I would like to showcase, I'm going to go back to the main user interface, because there's another pseudo first-person shooter game, more of like a third-person shooter game, but it has elevators very, very similarly themed to what you just saw in Gloom. And I'm going to go up to the arcade portion of my near 200 game window here on the Mega Drive Mini. And this is one of the games that I used to love playing in the arcade and never ever got old. It is also going to be very, very much a part of my next update here. It's called Zybots. And many games, I'm talking about countless hundreds of games, have issues where when you initially start them up, you have control issues. Welcome officially to one of my all-time favorite games. I mean, Atari games for the win. I love all the games from Gauntlet to this, Marble Madness and so on. I mean, Atari and Midway, such great games between the two. And nowadays, Warner Brothers actually owns the rights to many of these games in the catalog. Let's go into the game, and many of you who've played the game before will realize that you might not have the full precise controls that you'd expect, because these are predominantly configured to work with a keyboard rather than a controller. But if you use the R2 button with MAME 2000 Extreme, check it out. You can actually go to input this game, go right down to where it says player 1 twist right, and I'll set it to R trigger, and then I'll set player 1 twist left to the L trigger. And what I'm expecting to do with the next release, look at this, awesomeness, look at that. What I'm expecting to do with the next release is have these preset where all you have to do is load the game, and with at least a minimal Super Nintendo controller, you'll have the controls for games like this. And here's something cool. There's actually a little bit of a shortcut right here. I mean, you wouldn't even notice this unless you have the controls, but look right here. Bam. Look at that. So some of these levels actually have shortcuts and extended endings and such. Very, very cool game. And see what's right here. There we go. Now we're at the end of the level and we're doing the elevator. Again, I did a warp by going through the little wall there, which is kind of a secret here. And right here it kind of reminds me of Gloom as far as going through the elevators and such. But here we can even do a little bit of an upgrade system, like shots move faster, more shot power, more zap power, slow energy loss. So it's kind of tough to decide what I really want to have here. Maybe better shield. I'll do move faster. Which I think I pushed the wrong button and completely exited it. But I'll save it for the next round. We all know how it goes, where sometimes you do upgrades, you end up pushing the cancel button and go right to the game instead. Yeah, this is a fantastic game here. Very, very well done. I would love to see this show up on the next gen system. Again, there are quite a few games like this I can definitely recommend. And the real controller in the arcade is very, very cool. It actually has a rotation on the control itself, which some of you who've only emulated this would never see. But I used to play the hell out of this game in the arcades. And when I play arcade games, I don't necessarily try to insert coins. If my game's over, I really like to see how far I can get legitimately, initially. But it's not always easy. That's why I did some games in my, how many quarters would it take to beat the games? I did Willow. It took me $4.25 in quarters to beat the game. Oh, jeez. I need some energy here. Danger, danger. Oh, I lost. Great, great game, though, and thoroughly hope you enjoyed the video. And again, for the next release, I'm going to do my best to have many of these, as far as controls are concerned, implemented. I mean, I'll give you another example real quick. Since I'm going to do the one more game, here you go, Broken Sprites. One more game. And let's do Akari Warriors, another game that has rotary control issues here. And I would love it if you guys actually tell me some games that you have issues with, and you let me know what you'd like the controls to be, with a Super Nintendo control as the minimum to be, and I'll get these implemented hard code-wise, so when you load the game, you won't have to worry about configuring them to L1 or R1. I'll have it done for you. And this is another game that's like that, because when you're playing Akari Warriors there, and I very, very much consider this to be a Rambo game. Invariably like Rambo and Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I'll show you something very interesting about the MSX version of this after I do this for a brief moment, because we're doing one more game, right? Now, I always love playing this game in the arcade, and I love the NES version, even though it's really slow. But right here, we're able to move up and down, just like in Zybots, but probably not realize that you can actually rotate your character with trackball controls. Just check it out for yourself here. I'm going to go into core options again. Should we say main menu, and put this game, and we're going to look for the rotary, which would be dial, right here, dial. Let's make sure we do it all right. I might have it backwards here. If it's backwards, I can just revert these. We have R now to start with here. And I have it backwards. I'm going to go back in the menu here, and I'm simply going to revert them. Make this one R. And make this L. So LR right in a row. There we go. Now we can actually rotate. This is a pretty difficult game to control, because you're using the L and R to do tank controls. But once you get used to it, it is absolutely fantastic. And I find this interesting because this game is clearly designed around the whole Rambo aspect, but when you check this out for yourself here, I'm going to go back to the main user interface, and sometimes, invariably, even if you're playing a game like Wizards and Warriors 3 or 2 Iron Sword, you might see somebody like Fabio, the male model, showing up on the cover here, but I'll wait to see Akari Warriors for MSX, which I hope I still have in my user interface here. It should be here, a little bit farther down. Let's see if I still have it on my interface here, so I can give you a little kick out of this. I don't believe I removed it. There it is, right there. It looks like William Dafoe on the cover of this version here, but clearly on the other version of it, we have somebody that looks like Rambo. But this is an interesting game too. Just check it out for yourself. I'm gonna load this with the blue MSX core, and this game is interesting because it is actually the only version of this that has true violence in it. Because all the characters disappear when you take them out in the other versions of this, be it the arcade or NES version. But here, you can have an onslaught of enemies. Kind of like in the open board version where they stay on screen and you can have like 10 people on the screen at once. Just check it out for yourself here. But another game that has issues, I'm going to do one more game here, which also has control issues. Look, I can rotate myself here, but watch what happens when I take people out. Well, if they... Oops! Try that again here. They're all dead on the ground. They stay there. That is hilarious. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people on the ground here. You can do like 9. Do a little game when you see how many you can get on the screen at once. 10. That is just absolutely insane. I have to say, I really recommend this game to people to try it. It's so funny to play. The MSX version has more violence than any other version, aside from the open board version. And then our last game, which has control issues, is obviously Pole Position, which is an arcade game. And again, let me know any and all games that you guys have issues with. And I don't believe I actually have Pole Position on my main user interface right now, so I'm probably not going to be able to showcase that today. But we'll do one other game for the hell of it. Since we're talking about Rambo, let's do Rambo 3 for a moment here. And I did just watch that recent Rambo movie. And look, he's riding a horse. Oh, wow. I gotta watch that Rambo 2 movie again. Or Rambo 3 movie again, sorry. John Rambo, trait mercenary, formerly Green Berets. Okay? And again, this is another game that's great because I showed you how to change the controls, but if you have the cheat edge mod installed, you can do this other awesome thing. Where you go to the cheat menu here. You can even go to game history right there if you want to. And it takes a second because it's a several megabyte file that has the history. Assume the role of John Rambo and Colonel Sam Troutman as they fight the Soviet Army in Afghanistan. Technical specs. Then they even have something like trivia and such down there. Based on the movie of the same name. The movie Rambo 3 is rated R by the Motion Picture Association of America, etc., etc. And very, very cool. Even tips and tricks with level select and all that. I mean, it's so awesome. But we can even go to cheats there. Enable cheats. We can do infinity bombs, infinity super bombs, and infinity big weapon time, infinity big sights, fast shoot. And let's try this out right now. And we're going to really go Rambo, and we're going to do is half Hot Shots 2 Part 2 style with Charlie Sheen shooting like close up and personal here. Check it out for yourself. And yes, make sure you disable the cheats when you're done because they might be on the next time you play. But look at this. Bam! Infinity missiles and stuff. This is great. Nothing can stop me now. True Rambo style, just like in the movies. Nothing's gonna be able to touch Rambo. This is crazy. That is so awesome. And if you like this game, try out G.I. Joe Arcade, which is equally awesome. Again, this is a great 2-player mode activate game. And it's definitely worth doing. And if you want to do the 2-player mode activate, we can actually go in the retro settings, input, and we can go to player 2 binds. Remember, you have to disable this when you want to go back to default controls. But we're doing a one more game here. And let's change this device index here to PlayStation Classic controllers. So we're basically controlling both characters with one controller, and turn it off when you're done. But we're going to do it right now and check it out. There we go. Look at that awesomeness there. That is so sweet and works so nicely for the gun game. And yes, games like Terminator 2, I'm going to try to have the controls for them defaulted, and Operation X and all that. Revolution X, should I say. I'm trying to confuse the little title, mash up kind of Metroidvania with Operation Wolf and Revolution X, the Aerosmith game. This is a great, great game, and try this out back-to-back with G.I. Joe, and you'll be at home. And even if you play Operation Wolf, some of the later Operation Wolf games like 3 particularly, it's a little bit more like this too. A great, great game, and there we go. Infinity Bombs again for player 1. I didn't do it for player 2, but I can if I want to go back in the cheats menu. But absolutely love this game. Bam, bye-bye. That's so great. Almost need like a little bit of a Mode 7 effect like in TMNT Turtles in Time where the enemies get thrown out of the screen. Shall we do one more game, guys and gals? Since we keep doing the one more game thing here. Let's try one more game. Let's see what else we have for our final one more game. And let's just pick a random game here. Let's see what we have in our arcade scheme here. What do we have that we could definitely try out for a moment here? Come on now. Give me something. Give me something. I know what we could do. I'm a big, big fan of this. And for the United States, we have a game called Battlemania, aka Troubleshooter. But in other countries, they had a different sequel to it called Battlemania Daijinju. And this is great because this is a great game that not only has side-scrolling levels like in Troubleshooter, which is made by Vic2K, the same company that made so many incredible games such as Go-Go 13 and such, and Secret Ties. This game right here also has overhead shmup stages, and this is a very, very, very tough game wherein you only have one single life. Once your life is over, the game is done. So check it out for yourself. We're playing the sequel to Troubleshooter, which is only released in other countries, not in the United States, but here it is. And when I do the 5,000 subscriber video, I'm going to definitely have this in the video, along with Super Smash TV. A great, great game, and here's my final one more game. Can I even think of another one more? I gotta do it, Micro Machines type of thing, one more game to showcase it next week. I don't know, maybe I'll do one more since I'm on the little kick of shmup games here. Because many of you know about your typical shmups. I don't, of course, like Sega Genesis, your typical shmups that everybody knows about. But there are shmups that everybody does not know about as well. Maybe we'll try one of those for a brief moment here, because we gotta keep doing the one more game gambit. Act now, kind of like an infomercial. Well, if you act now, you get 2, you get 3, you get 4, you get 5 Billy May style to give to your friends, loved ones, and family, right? Telemarketing style. A great game. Really digging everything about this game. I mean, Vic Tokay is such a fantastic company, and I'm really thoroughly hoping that some of the people involved with that development team way back are still going strong with some current development teams. But yes, we have the sequel to Troubleshooter right here now, and I guess we're gonna try one more game. This is gonna have to be the final one more game. Let's do another Mega Drive game. Let's do Undeadline, another fantastic game. This is our final game for the video. Even though I keep saying one more game. This is our final one more game. One more game mode activate, right, guys and gals? This is called Undeadline. Yet another game that was not released in the United States, and is a fantastic game. You'll see for yourself in a moment here. Forest Cemetery Ruins, Rock Cave Drain. We'll do the forest. Okay, here we go. Awesome! It is basically like a shmup. And yes, this, along with Troubleshooter 2, is such a great game. So yes, we have Undeadline and the sequel to Troubleshooter as recommendations for you guys to try out today. And I love playing the obscure or lesser known games. There's so many of these that I can showcase, that I've already showcased, and they're going to be in future videos. And some of you might have played King's Quest on the original NES, which is a little bit like this, a Square game. It is quite a bit like this, actually. And we got our typical Genesis style music going on here. And there is no shortage of shmups on the Sega Genesis. Bam! And on that note, enjoy your day, guys and gals, or night, have you will, and there'll be more videos coming over the next few days.